Good morning. Happy Saturday. Uh, hello. Welcome to Beamer's Crafty Corner. I'm Bima, better known as Els. Hey. What is this already this morning? Let me see. Doo-doo-doo. Sorry, one of my spotters found something. Well, good morning. Let's. Hi, welcome to Beamer's Crafty Corner. I am Bima, better known as Els. This is Harry. And sorry, but this is a live video, and Harry participates in lives. So, yeah, it's going to have to deal with him. All right. Hi. Would you like some treats? I will get you some if you will leave me alone. I will. I'll go get you some right now. And I will throw out Ozzy. Come on, Oz. Out with Daddy. There you go. Doggy out. Kitty in the kitty cave. Come on. There you go. Okay. This is Build Journal 101. And we're basically walking through this step by step on how to build a journal. There is actually a syllabus for this. It is a totally free class. There's no cost involved here. You can use all of your own supplies. Now, I did offer a pack for the class that is basically what you need to build the cover and some extra tools that you may not have hanging around, like some linen thread, some waxed linen thread, a needle that's appropriate, some clips to hold your signatures together while you're trying to sew them in. So it's just a basic set. And I currently do not have any, but I will be listing them in the shop. So they will be there for future people that, once I get feedback from the people that did get the pack, if it was complete enough. It has Tyvek in it and everything else that you need. So, yeah. Cat haters, swipe right. We don't want you. You can leave now. Hello, Chris. Good morning, Miss Marjorie. Hello, Carla. All right. Somebody else is in here that's not in the chat, but that's okay. Everybody is welcome. So right now what this is a two-signature, very simple two-signature journal. And today we're going to be working, this is week 4A, which means we're going to be working on ephemera. Now, if you have not participated prior to this, you can go down to the description, all the way, in the description. You will find a link to my Google Drive where you can get this Journal 101 syllabus that tells you everything in each week's videos and also the things that you may need for that, okay? In week 1, we built cover. We actually gutted a book and we built a cover from scratch. So we did it both ways. In week 2, we established some signatures. In week 3, we talked about pockets and tucks and belly bands and all that kind of stuff. And then here we are in week 4, which is actually 2 parts. We're going to be working on journaling cards. We're going to be working on tags, labels, clusters, book toppers, edges, everything you can possibly imagine to put into your book, to embellish everything, to add all of that stuff that makes it look pretty. So there's a list of things that you're going to need. If you're joining me right now, you're going to probably want the digital that you're using or some kind of, designer paper that fits your theme. Yes, you can do this from a pad. You don't have to pay for a digital if you don't want to. You can do it from a pad. You can do it from just scraps you have. Okay. You're going to want adhesive. I do recommend a liquid adhesive. Hello. Possibly tape. If you have double-sided tape and you want to use that for some certain things, you can use that for anything that's not got stress on it. You could also use it to adhere washi tape because, let's face it, washi tape doesn't really stick very well. You're going to want some cardstock for your bases and backings. You're going to want an ink and a dauber if you like to ink things. You're going to want doilies are optional here. Punches or die cut shapes for the bases. If you don't have a punch or die cut, that's okay. Just take a strip of 1-inch paper and cut it into 1-inch squares. It works just the same. Some laces, some trims, washi tape, some snippets if you have them. Any fussy cuts you may have, which probably came from your digital if you bought a digital. Any die cuts that are related. So if you have dies that cut out tabs and things, you may want those. Also, any stickers you have or anything else you can think of. Literally anything, okay? Semi-lucid. So we're going to work on these today. Yeah, we don't bite, but we might lick. Harry, I gave you treats. I gave you treats. What's our deal? I give you treats, you leave me alone, right? So what are you doing? What are you doing? Get down. You're breaking the deal. Get down. Get down. No, down. No, get down, sir. Come on. Here's a knee. Here's a knee. Use it. Let's go. Get down. Yeah, get down. Go take a nap or something. Don't make me call Buggy. I'll do it. Come on. Oh, you fatty. I know. But you got to get down. Here you go. No, we're not playing rig around the mommy, so don't even go there. All right. Not this one. This one. So, this is the journal that I'm working for this class. And so we're going to kind of quickly, oh God, that's heavy, take a look at what we have. So this is the book that we gutted. And we just put some wallpaper inside of it for our inside. You can use anything you want. This is the book that we've built from scratch. So we put the base together, put our book cloth on. We have our end pages in. We have our covers on. This is the book that we've done from scratch in order to build this. I think the book kit even came with book corners that you can use. But that's our book base. Hello, Miss Christine. Let's see. Then we built our pockets. Now we do have washi tape for this project. These are all of my cut aparts. The words I kind of leave together until I need them. Simply because it makes life a little easier to not have to chase individual ones around. I can just look at the list and pull them. These are the 2 signatures that I put together. I believe the kit also had some paper, not all of the paper that you need, but some paper. And these are stickers we're going to want today. All right. I do have some leftover of the cover paper, so we may use this for some things just to tie it in. Okay? So, what do we want today? We don't want these. We want these. We want these. You may want your pockets because you may want to decorate on your pockets, but I say no. Wait to do that. And then we're going to want some background paper, paper that we can use for making our ephemera pieces. So we have some of that. We have this that we cut off one of the pages that I think will make a cute tag. So I'm going to put this with my pockets. Or we'll stick it with the ephemera for now. And then we've got some, paper that is part of our decor, which is to say that it's, we can cut things out of it. All right. And I have more on the side over here. I'm just not bringing it all over. I think the bug has moved in. Yeah, he's passed out in his room right now. Okay, so what we're going to be working on today are the little bits and pieces. We call this the no-no box, but it's not. What this is this is stuff that I've made, and because of wanting to show you what the end product looks like, I have taken these things to completion. Not what I recommend, okay? There are 2 schools of thought when it comes to these types of embellishments. Number 1 is the mass make, where you go in and you make 50 of something. The other end of that is a make ahead. Okay? Big difference here. You guys hear me talk about this all the time. In my videos, I even tell you, if you're going to make this as a make ahead, stop here. And there's a reason. When you mass make, you take out rolls of washi tape. You take out bits and pieces of stuff. You take out base pieces, and then you sit and you make the same things over and over and over and over. And what ends up happening is you end up having all of these pieces that really only work in one style of journal. That is a mass make. And that's kind of what we're going to do here. But we're doing it with intention. And the intention that we're doing it with is that we're doing it to fit the theme of the journal we're currently working on. To make ahead, you just make the basis for stuff. So this is the I went on to the mass make portion. This is why we call it the no-no box, because I always say don't ever do this. But if I'm going to show you how something is going to look when it's finished, I kind of have to, take it to its end. So sometimes I'll find a use for some of these things, but generally no. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at all of the things that are in the no-no box and use it for inspiration on making ephemera for what we're doing today. Okay? Things like this. Normally, I would just say, just cut a strip, just put some base pieces in the background. Don't put anything specific on it. This is more or less like a snippet. Okay? So I can cut any piece of this and use it somewhere in a journal. Scrap Buster 3000. This is just using strips of paper that we have that, we keep in our strip bins. We're going to be making some of these today. This is this. Just a wider strip. But I just pulled this off of a strip. Same thing. This is a ticket. We're going to be using some tickets today. This is just 2 circles made into a paper clip that we can use. This video has not come out yet, but we're going to do it anyway because it's a neat idea if you're somebody who likes to have, dangly down things. We're going to talk about making just bases and then working off of those. And there's another ticket. Look at that. So this, I think we did this when we were working on using our packaging. So we're going to go through and we're going to kind of like look through here for our inspiration, but we are going to see like this. This is a make ahead. This will fit in a couple of different journals. And as a matter of fact, I think it'll work in this one. So we'll take that piece out. So we're going to kind of work through different things that are like what's in here. Let's start with a couple of these, and we'll just kind of work our way into making the rest. So this one I say is the easiest one. And the reason I say that is because it's just scraps. This is literally just scraps of paper. So if you're like me and you keep your strips, which I'm always saying, keep your strips, you might have something like this. And I'm just going to look in here and find some pieces that I think work with the general look of this. Which can be scraps from the papers that I'm currently using in the book. And it can be other things. That's an old book page. That has some greenery on it. Gotta have pink, right? There's some teal. Yeah, that could work too. This one's cute. It's got books on it. That's something that would work. And I'm just going to pull a few of these. No, don't really like that one. Do like that. I like this. Oh, I like that. That, maybe. That, maybe. All right. Your eyeglasses just fell apart. Oh, my God. Hello, Tara. Okay. So we're going to be doing this. And so all I've done is just pulled my scraps. These are just scraps out of my strip bin that I can use to do this. So all I'm going to do now, and this is the get your aggression part out. I'm just going to take my scissors and just start cutting strips. These don't have to be straight. They don't have to be the same size. They don't have to be perfect. They just need to be strips of paper. And the thinner, the better, I think, with this. So, if you've got something that's like this, you could get a couple of pieces out of it, maybe 2 or 3. They can be wonky. They could be angled. You're just cutting this. No matter what, how you cut it, it's perfect. That's the best part of this particular one. Now, this is that fold over part. So We're going to get rid of it. So I'm just going to start cutting these apart. That's all you have to do. Just cut these down into thinner strips. You want thin strips. So if you have thin strips, use those. Okay. Oh, I like this. It's got a jagged edge on it because I cut it on my jag cutter. That's kind of cool. Can you use a paper trimmer to do this? Absolutely, if you feel the need to do that. Another thing you can do is if you have, the scissors that have the edges on them and you want to use those. Give it a wavy edge. Give it a decal edge. Whatever you want. If you just want to cut it and, go like this, do that. If you have a pair of pinking shears and you'd like to do this, do it. Cut it down however you want to cut this, okay? Just cut it into strips. Are we going to use them all? No. Let's see. I cut one of those down. I'm going to keep this one to use. I'm going to cut this down into some strips. And then I'm going to keep a piece of this as well, because I think that's all I have of that. I have plenty of book page, so I can cut this up till my heart is content. This one. This one. Now, there is a whole video on this. If for whatever reason you're watching this and you're like, I'm just not getting it. There's a whole video on this. It's called Scrapbuster 3000, I believe. And it's just literally just cutting up strips like this and putting these together. And you'll see me actually make this one in that. I'm going to keep that one. This is a double book page that I glued together, so it's got a little bit more stability, but it's torn on one side, and I like that. This one's a little, I don't know. It's like it doesn't really fit the color scheme, but it's got the green leaves on it, so it's tropical, but we'll use it anyway. What do we have here? Keep a piece of that. Right, cut off that. We're going to cut this one down. It's like chandeliers, but it's a good color. All right. And then this one. And this one. So I'm going to move kind of quickly through all of these. But you have, because I'm going on a trip, you actually have 2 weeks to do these. So, you can come back to this video and you can go over each part of this as often as you need to. And I'm not going to be here. So next week, we're not going to be having our class, but I will be back the following week for part 4B, which is where we're going to be building even more ephemera. So you can see. Oh, don't worry about it, Tara. Just do a blanket hello, and that's all that matters around here. We know where your heart's at. Trust me, nobody here is going to get butt hurt. Okay, so now we're going to cut these down. This, you obviously don't want this on your page. You want something that's about 4 inches, give or take. So cut these appropriately. Cut some small, cut some long. We're literally just cutting shit up here. This is just cutting stuff up. If you have like this where it's got white on the edge, like this book page, I never cleaned it out. So if you have that, just snip it off, and then cut yourself some pieces. Does this have to be perfect? No, that's the beauty of this. It's just irregular fun. Does it have to be inked? No. If it's inked, fabulous. If it's not, okay. We shall live. But I like this part, this particular one I like because one, I can bring all the colors of the book in. I can even bring in paper from the book, you know, that's going to be like maybe not on that page, but it's still part of the book. I can bring that into it. That's a real interesting one because it has that wave on one side and the scallop part on the other. This one we're going to cut. And we're just looking to cut these, like I said, no bigger than like 4 inches across, but there's no real, you know, I wouldn't go, maybe 2 to 4 inches is kind of the deal. If it's more or less than that, I kind of wouldn't use it. But just think how much you could do with just, you know, this pile, just this much, you know. And does it have to be, you know, the colors for your book? No. If you use base colors, you could make these ahead. Just the base piece without this. And add to it when you determine what you're going to put in your book. So this is a great one to use as a make. Oh, I like this one because it's double-sided, which means I get twice the power on that one. Oh, I do like this one. It's so skinny. Tiny. That's cool too. Now, see, I'm trying to get the little pieces out because I won't use the little pieces. Trying to feed those out of there, but you know. What is this? This is a paint chip. That's cool. I don't even know what half the stuff is in this bin, I swear. All right. That one. This one. That one. Yeah, that's a paint chip. Interesting. And then I'm going to take the pieces that I deem to just be too small and get rid of them. Let's face it. We have exhausted this paper. It is beyond exhausted. Yo, good. You didn't ink anything. Now, because I'm using this stuff in some of my ephemera, I'm going to hold on to this because I may use it in other bits of ephemera. So since I've already selected this, so I don't just have like one random piece of this in there someplace, I've got a couple of bits of this that I'm setting to the side. This is important. It helps to provide continuity throughout the journal. I'm probably going to go through 3 bottles of water today, I swear. Okay? So I'm going to keep this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put it to the side. I cleaned out the basket last night so that I could do this. I'm going to put it to the side. I'm going to put it in the basket so that I have that for later. Because you don't want to go through, let's take a look at our example journal that we use for a lot of things. You don't want to go through and use one little piece of this paper, which is kind of a pink floral thing, and not have it anywhere else in the book. Okay? Like you don't want to use washi tape in just one place. You always want to have like the continuity. This is the same paper as this. I used it here. I used it here. So it's going to continue through the book. I really got to move this to a different page because, to be honest with you, it is killing that page. We're going to tack this up here for now. Why this isn't, I don't know. So you want to kind of have that continuity when you're going through. You want to use the same kind of stuff, you know, again and again. Here it is again. And I'm working from a pad in this book. Whenever I make ephemera and stuff, I always, I'm always making it out of, you know, right now I'm making it out of that. Here's the hearts. Here's the hearts. using that continuity. Okay. So you want to have that in a journal. It's very important that you don't go off the rails. Hello, Miss Rose. Shush. Yeah. Yeah. Look, see, I bought this for a project and I hate this pad. And so I'm using it up. So I'm using it in my crappy example journal. And when it's all done and it's pink and puke, I'm going to change the cover on it. I'm sending it to your butt, Miss Rose. Rose is she's a good friend of mine, and we've been friends for a long time. And we send boxes back and forth to each other. And I will tell you, I think that woman takes great joy in putting pink lace in the boxes she sends me. And then when I open them and I'm like, oh my God, thank you. It's so nice. She goes, I know you love that pink. And she's very South Texas. And she's a smart ass. She's a smart ass. But I'd do anything for her. I love her to death. She knows it. I'd even come down and kick her husband's butt for her because he can be grumpy sometimes. All right. So once you've got all of these little pieces cut, you have embellishments. They're not, this is not like the only embellishment to put in there, but you do have embellishments. Can you drive yourself nuts and sit here and ink all of these? Oh, you bet you, baby. Can you use your pinking shears to, adjust the edges so they have a little bit of a, weird look? Yes. Can you tear it? Absolutely. However you want to do this. And what you're going to do is take some long ones and some shorter ones and some in-between ones, and you're just going to start stacking them up. Now, if you don't like something, like say this, you're saying this is too big, too wide for those pieces. That's okay. Find something else. Look, it looks okay with this one. And I like it with this one. We could do a piece of this on here. Let's see. I want to do, we could do one of these. Maybe one a little bit longer than this, though. It's white on the back. Okay. Here's one. This one's a little bit longer. Let's get rid of that one. Let's put this one in. That looks good. Bringing it closer together. I'm really just kind of clustering these as tight as I can. That works for me. Okay. So all I'm going to do is make piles like this and just kind of move them around. And okay, trying to get the pin out. Now we're going to see if Gluey's going to work. Gluey, are you going to work today? And I'm just going to start with whatever my base piece is. I'm going to put a dot of glue in the middle. Yep, Gluey's not working. Seriously, I'm going to put eyes on him. And they're going to be attitude. This is a little thick. I think I'm going to use a thinner one, so I'll just cut this one down. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the middle. And then I'm going to take a piece of this, and I'm just going to glue it on there. And I'm just going to keep building this. Just a little bit of glue for each layer. This one I want to be a little bit thinner as well. Doesn't have to be perfect. Matter of fact, the imperfection is what makes this work. Okay. A little bit of glue. We'll go there, just a little off center. And then this piece, a little bit of glue. And to have a stack. Now is where you get fussy. We're going to trim that one. We'll trim that one. We'll trim this one a little bit. Give it some shape. Okay. Get that out of the way. We're going to do that. All right. So that's a base. Now, at this point, you can stop. if you were doing normal stuff. But we're working on a specific journal here. So we're going to go a little bit more ahead. And I'm going to go into my bag. Let me grab my tray. What's Mama having for lunch? Now, I did cut a couple of these word strips in advance for this, just so that I had them. Chicken Alfredo. Oh, very good. All right. So now I'm going to kind of look here because I have these, which are like little stamps, and I have some little circles that I cut. And these, I think, are perfect to go on the center of these. So I'm just going to find one that I want. And I'm going to ink this. What color am I going to ink this? Oh, yeah, we're already using it. All right. So I'm just going to put a little ink on here. Now, I can put this flat on here if I want to, or if I want to give it some dimension, I can get out my dimensionals. Now, if you don't have, if you don't have these, but you want to still have the dimension. Let me see if I have one. I don't know that I do, but I'm going to look. I do. You can get this foam tape. They sell this at the Dollar Tree. You can also get it at Walmart. Okay. It's just foam tape. So all you have to do is just peel this up, cut off a piece that's the size that you need, and put it on there. It's double-sided foam tape. Okay. You can get it at the Dollar Tree. This does not have to be expensive. You don't have to have fancy tools. All right. So I'm going to take a piece of this, put it on the back of here, because I want to give this a little bit of dimension. Peel that off. And now I'm going to put this on here. Now I've made this for this journal. Okay. This is going to go in this journal. So we can get rid of our no-no piece. Now, we're not going to sit here and do a whole bunch of these. What I am going to do is I'm going to take all of my strips, because you guys are going to have 2 weeks to do this. So I'm going to take all of my strips, and I'm going to put them into an envelope or bag. Oh, I got to have something around here. Let me get a bag. Okay, I got a couple of bags because we're going to do a couple of different things. So now I'm going to have all the strips that I need to make all of these that I want to make. Am I going to use every single thing that I make here? No. Am I still going to just have it? Yes. All right. So let me do this. I'm going to put this in here like that. Boop. Then I'm going to fold this in half. This way I know what's in here. I'm going to move it to the side. It's built a decent craft section, so before getting spendy, let me love your Michaels, check different. Yeah. And some stores are better than others. So if you live in an area that has more than one Dollar Tree, check out all of them. Okay. True story. When Dollar Tree started putting out dyes, oh, I hate that. It happens to Mike all the time. Um, fraudulent transaction, you have to change all your auto pays. I looked all over Vegas, and you guys have seen me show you how many Dollar Trees there are in Vegas. I can think of 20 right off the top of my head within a 5-mile radius of my house. And none of my stores had the dies. And I wanted to get them because the ladies, you know, at the time, they were all like, we want them. You know, a die for $1. And I looked everywhere and I could not find them. And then I went on a trip. And I think I was only going to Phoenix on that particular trip. No, it was the first trip I took with Shay. We went all the way to Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. And the first Dollar Tree I saw when we left the state of Nevada was in Bullhead City, Arizona, literally just across the river from Laughlin. You could see the river from the parking lot. And I got out of the car and I went in there, not expecting anything really. We went in to get snacks. And I just happened to walk down their craft aisle, and they had every single one of the dies that I had seen hauled from Dollar Tree. Every one of them. And a few I hadn't seen. And I was like, son of a beep, 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 beep. So, yeah, I was really, but and it's like, it's the only Dollar Tree in town there. There's only 2 actually. And this was the only one. And it was full. Like, the whole pegs were full of them. I was like, son of a, yes, I bought them. Holy crap. Yeah. All right. So next we're going to move on to this. Now, this is a big example of this. A big example. More of what we're looking to do is stuff that is because of the scale to your page size. Okay? If you're working on a big journal like the one that the Pirate Journal, where it's a full-size page, you're going to want your embellishments to be a little bit bigger. But scale to your page. These are small pages. These pages are only 7 inches. So smaller pieces. And what we're looking to do is to make, I don't know if we even have one in here, but we're going to look. Totally trashed that page. We're going to fix it. I don't think I've gotten this far back yet. Nope. We're going to make just a regular cluster, okay? But this is more like this one is more like for putting on the side of a page. And there's some advantages to this because if you put this on the side of a page, you can use it to tuck things in. It could be like a little tuck pocket. You can put this certainly at the bottom of a page as a pocket. You can put it at the top of a page and use it as a tuck. So this particular type of build is kind of beneficial. Hello, Miss Francis. So for this, we're going to start with little ones, okay? So we're going to want a piece of paper that's themed. We're going to want, let's see. Hold on. I got a loggy hair on my tongue. It's horrible. Yes, it could be a tab. You're absolutely right. So we're going to start off with a piece of paper that is themed, and then we're going to be looking for something that's more benign. I like to use the cut edges or book pages for this type of thing. So we're going to have, something like this. Maybe a piece, if we're going to use this for a tuck in, which we're not, because this is going to be a smaller piece of ephemera. If we were using this to do a tuck in, this is, you hear that? That's card. Okay. And this is paper. So, if you're going to use it for a tuck in, make it as thick as you can without making it bulky. And there's a trick to it. And that's just using heavier papers. But we have this paper. We have some of this, which could be a book page, may not be a book page, can be a book page if you have a book page. Do I have a fat book page that I can use? Probably not. Ooh, I do like that though. See, every time I look in my scrap bin, I find something and I go, ooh, I like it. Unbelievable. Okay, I don't have any book page. So let me grab some book page. This is from A Christmas Carol. Do I need to fancy cut this? No. Just tear it. Doesn't have to even be straight. Okay. Doesn't matter what book it's from. If it happens to be from the book that you're using or, fits your theme, fantastic. But if it's not, it's okay. I do like that. Okay. So for this one, what you're going to do, because we're making this a little bit bigger, is I'm just going to start gluing kind of paper together. Do I have to ink this? No. Can I ink this? Sure. Let's ink. So here's the thing. Whether it's what's called a true cluster, or you are putting a tab, this is a cluster, okay? Yes, I just tore that. I don't care. Does this actually have to be a printed book page? No. If you just print this out on your computer on, paper, it works too. All right. So I'm going to glue this on here. And all I'm doing is stacking. This is, guys, it doesn't matter. Every piece of this is just stacking. Okay. So get the, oh, I got to be artsy fartsy out of your head. You don't have to be artsy fartsy. You just have to stack stuff up. See that? That'll go in that bag with all my strips. Mm-hmm. Probably not that one. I'm going to cut this off the end. Cut this off the end. Ink. So this is really just a bigger version of what we just did. And I get it. This part, it terrifies people. Many years ago, I did not like doing clusters at all. There's a video actually with me and Tina from Tina's Crafty Life where I'm making like clusters for probably the first time, maybe the second time. But it was hysterical because I hate making clusters. And she's on there trying to show me how to make clusters. And I'm just like losing it left, right, and Sunday. I'm just going to tear that part off. I'm going to keep it though, because I'm going to use it. But I'm going to tear it off because it's not, it doesn't work for what I'm looking for. Thank goodness I was never sent to school. That's a quote from the book. We're just going to go ahead and, do I have to use the whole label as it is? No. If I want to cut this part off and just use this part in the middle, I can do that. But, We're going to do that. I'm going to put it on here. All I'm doing is just clustering stuff. I'm just stacking one thing on top of another until I get to something that I like. You guys have heard me say it 1,000 times. If you don't like the way it looks, throw something else at it. It was hilarious. I am the first one who will admit that it was freaking hilarious because I'm not really a cluster person, you know? I'm just not. I think I want to do a blue one on here because, yeah, I'm just not a cluster person. And it was, and I'll tell you why, because I have OCD. And so for me, doing clusters was extremely difficult. Why? Because my brain did not want the chaos of it. My brain wanted it to be very, very uniform. But I found out over time that if I just kind of let it go and do whatever comes to mind, it works. See, I don't know. I don't think I like this up here. I think this is too much. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to take it off. There, it doesn't even have to be perfect. I'm just going to take it off and re-ink and then see if I like it. And I do. And I've got a heavier piece of paper here in the back. So if I want to do this as a tuck, I absolutely can. So yet another way to use strips. If you want to do something this size, we're going to do something this size. Here's how I recommend you do it. Take a piece of paper. Let's find a piece that's appropriate. Here we go. So this is that fence paper that we used on the cover. And actually, I think I kind of want to do, you know, I want the boards to go this way. So we're going to use this piece. And all I'm going to do is cut this down. So let's cut it down. And then I'm going to cut this off. About 1.5 inches is good. Does it have to be 1.5 inches? Hell no. Can it be 2 inches? Yes. Can it be 3 inches? Yes. Can it be 1 inch? Absolutely. Here, look, we'll take it down. Here's 1 1/4, 1.5, 1. Here, 1 1/4. We'll do 1 1/4. 1 1/4. Saving all the strips. Here's a 1 1/4 piece. Okay. So now we're going to build this. Save all your strips. Yes, she loves her some clusters. She's the clustering queen. Okay, so now I'm going to use this. Now I've got a fence, a brick wall. Am I going to use it? I don't know. I'm just looking at this point. What else do I have? Well, I do have some pieces that are left over from the pockets that I made. And these are, you know, heavier pieces. We're going to take that piece. It's a very benign piece. We're going to take that. We're going to glue these together. Slightly off center. Does not have to be perfectly off center, but we're going to ink everything as we're putting it down. If you're inking, if you're not an inker, don't worry about it. Okay? If you are not an inker, do not worry about it. Now, you guys see me do this sometimes. If I want to make something look a little dirty, I'll kind of give it some random folds and just brush the ink over it. Doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be heavy. It just gives it a little extra character. I really like to use this when I'm doing something that's like a written page. So, because that always makes it look like, you know, like it's been handled. Look, Other people's stuff always looks good, but yours will too. Again, I will say it 1,000 times. When you're doing a cluster, start building it. Just envision it in your head and start putting it together. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just lay it out. Lay things on and go, ooh, do I like this? Because I like this, but I don't like it with this. I like this, but I don't like it with this. Do I like it with that? Not really. Do I like it with this? That's better. So now I'm going to cut this to, fit on here. Ink it up. Take a look at it. That's all it is. And then when I think I've got it, that's when I'll glue. And sometimes, like we've said this a million times in mixed media, sometimes when you do stuff like this, you don't like the whole. Sometimes the whole of it doesn't work for you. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down. If we can get the glue to be consistent and work, Also, the gluing down part is where you decide if this is going to go on the left side of a page or the right side of a page. All right, we're getting the big bottle of glue out because I'm not going to deal with you today, gluey. Just to be a pin, but you're not going to work either. I got you. Because if you are going to have this on this side of the page, this is okay. If you're going to put it on this side of the page, you want to glue it on the other side. So this is the one you decide which side of the page it's going to go on. When you're doing your bases, stagger your heights. Okay? Be honest, I had a huge box of like no-nos, things that really were no-nos that like no matter what I did, I couldn't get them where I wanted them to be. And sometimes taken out of context, stuff doesn't look right anyway. So now we have this. But here's the thing. We're really only going to work with the top of this. So here, watch. Not great? Oh, that's fabulous. Look at that one. Freaking awesome. This way just looks like a couple of pieces of paper. Cut it in half randomly. Now what can we do? Well, this one's a little long. We'll cut that part off. No big deal. Now let's ink around the edges that we just cut. Now I have two pieces. Now, let's make this work in the journal. So this is part of the cut aparts for this journal. And I'm sure it's supposed to be some kind of a journaling card, but it's really too small. Okay. Do I want to keep it square? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'll just round corners. Maybe I'll make the corners really fabulous. Okay. Do you have to make the corners really fabulous? No. Can you just round the corners? Absolutely. Okay. You do you, boo. All right. So now we have that part. Now I'm only going to put some glue on one side of this. Do I want to put risers on it? Do I want it to pop up off the page? Maybe. Let's pop it. I do like popping things. tabs. Where's this big tabbies? I need the bigger tabbies. Where's the bigger tabbies? Rose, did you steal my damn tabs again? Oh, here they are. Quit hiding shit, Rose. It's always Rose. She always hides stuff. We're going to live together in our old age. And I already told them I'm going to draw like me and her and Michelle. And I told them I'm going to draw, there's going to be tape on the floor and you guys aren't allowed to cross it. You know, they're messing with my stuff. They're both messy. On the right. All right. So now we have that on there. Look at it. It was just ugly strips. Now look at it. Could I take it a step further? Yes. I could have added something into the background here to make it, you know, prettier. More of the image that I'm looking for. So now we have this one. There's the top of it. Do we like it this way? I don't know. Do we like it this way? Maybe we like it this way because we're going to put something across the top of it. Hard to say. Maybe this one's going to go this way. So this is going to be, you know, faced into our page. So let's see what we're going to do here. I don't know. Boo-ba-doo-ba-doo. I think I want bigger words. I printed some of the words smaller and then some of them I printed up larger. Do-do-do. All right, we're going to go ahead and trim this line out. Remember, I can't cut a straight line with a pair of scissors to save my butt, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, I just want the words. I don't really want the stuff. Can this be anything? Does it have to be from this set? No. It can be any word you have. So I have some words. I have a thing. I think we're going to put this on here. We're going to glue this down. I'll have you guys know I totally disassembled this bottle and washed everything out so that I could use it, and it's still visual interest, skew things one way or the other. Yeah, she'll still come in my space. I'll find her down there staring at 16 pairs of scissors going, which one's fabric? Which one's paper? Because I don't have them clearly marked as a way of messing with them. All right, this one and this one. And then I'm going to put a dollop of glue on each of these because I don't trust them. I don't trust anything if I can avoid it. Okay. Now I have something that's three-dimensional. I made 2 pieces out of 1 set of strips. Check it out. And they're totally different. The look is totally different. But continuity. I'm going to have both of those all those papers going through the book. You ask yourself all the time, are these fabric or are these paper? Which one am I cutting with this stuff? Okay. So now let's do a traditional cluster. All right. So for this, you're going to want some kind of a base. A base can be anything that you have. Like I said, if you have a punch and you can punch out a circle, by all means, punch out a circle. We're going to punch one out of this because this is a scrap piece that's left over. I have a 1-inch circle here. I'm going to punch this out. I don't have a 1-inch circle. That's okay. I have a strip of paper. It's pretty decent size. Let's see if we got, oh, here's something a little smaller. All right. Doo-doo-doo. This is what I do with my, leftover cardstock that's 1 inch or less across. This one is exactly 1 inch. I'm just going to start cutting 1-inch squares. Give or take. They don't have to be freaking perfect. They don't even have to be totally square. Now I have a whole bunch of bases. Now this is where you're going to want to get out your little bits. These things. All of this stuff that you've collected off of other things. This is what's left of a piece of rickrack from something that I made. This is, a leftover piece of ribbon. This is, well, this is literally exactly what it looks like. This is an old style gauze pad that I tea-dyed, and I keep it in here, little pieces of it. I'm not going to use this on here. This is for more something like the pirate theme. Does that mean that I can't use this? No, we can use this. Let's cut a piece. We're going to cut a piece of that because we're going to use a piece of it. Here's some blue stuff. I don't know what this shit is. Wait, kind of like this. This could be part of the Peter Rabbit. What else could be Peter Rabbit? I don't know. Let's dig. What else do we have down here that could be part of Peter Rabbit? No idea. Ooh. I do have gauze pads in other colors. We might use some of that. Yes, go get yourself the cheap gauze pads or a roll and just dye it in different colors. Do you have to have dye? No, use your sprays. Use your inks. Okay. What is that? Oh, that's tape. Okay. So I'm just kind of digging in here. Finding some stuff. I have found some stuff. Am I going to use all of it? I don't know. Do I have to use all of it? No. Do I have to use any of it? No. What if I don't have any of that stuff? Okay, move on. All right. So now I have like this collection of stuff. First thing, let's learn about this. This is called muslin. You can snip this with scissors. Doesn't matter. Just give it a snip and give it a tear. And you're going to get all these threads. That's the look you want. Now, take your pokey tool or a pin and just start pulling on the edge of this. and you're going to remove thread. Then turn and do this part. You can stamp on muslin if you're using permanent ink. I have a whole video on how to do that. So if you have some stamps that work for what your theme is, you could certainly stamp on these if you want to. There's a whole couple of videos actually on doing that. Again, what I'm showing you today is just kind of a general idea. If you want something more detailed, go in and watch the videos, okay? It doesn't have to be my video. If somebody else has a video on stamping on fabric and you want to watch them, go watch them. I don't care. But I'm going to let you know that I do have, if I do have a video available for it. So all I'm doing is pulling out thread. And the deeper I go, the more threads I pull out, the more ratty I make this look. The more used. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of the strings. And I'm going to show this to you guys. So that's what I've done. I've pulled all that thread out. I've unraveled the fabric. Now, use a piece of paper. Use your whatever. I'm just going to go in here and add a little ink because I don't want this to look so clean. Now I've got kind of a brownie color. Maybe I want it a little bit darker over here. Wherever I want it, I can go in there with ink. Now, I can also just hit this with a spray ink if I want to, and do that. And now I have a fabric base. Well, okay, now we have that. Let's do maybe a little piece of this on here. I don't know. We're going to find out. All right, so I'm going to take a base and I'm going to glue down my piece of fabric. This is where I told you you're going to need a thicker glue. So if you don't have like Fabri-Tac or a Beacon 3-in-1 or something like that, what you're going to want is tacky glue. You can get a bottle of Aleene's tacky glue, which I actually recommend for bookbinding and everything. But you can get a bottle of Aleene's tacky glue at the Dollar Tree. They sell small bottles for $1.25. They're not huge bottles, but they will last you a little while. I don't care. Normally, like when I talk about using fabric, I always say, put paper behind it. I don't care about this because it's going to get covered with stuff. Hi, Osman. Let me see here. All right, so I don't have a bottle of it out here, but it comes in a brown bottle, and it's a little bit smaller than this one, and it's tacky glue. This is the same thing. It's clear gel Aleene's tacky glue. This is just not white. Basically, kind of the same thing as this, okay? So, it doesn't have to cost a fortune to craft. Just, if all you can afford is Elmer's glue, that's all you can get, whatever, use it. It's not acidic. All right, so I got that on there. It's pretty much stuck down. And I'm thinking, he's got his little jacket. And this whole thing is he loses his little jacket, right? Yeah.
Right. All right. Not a problem. I apologize for the inconvenience, and I can certainly try to assist you with that. And I apologize.
Let's see.
I didn't quite catch your name on the way in.
So, yeah. So here's his mommy putting on his little jacket. And he loses his little jacket. It gets caught in the fence.
All right.
So what I'm thinking
I got an account that come up
is this kind of looks like, like it could be
all right.
Like a torn piece of his jacket.
What we got going on?
This could be a little bit of trim on his jacket. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on here. I'm just going to cut it off. Does it have to be the same size? No. Can I use hot glue? Good question. You're fine.
Right off the bat, I don't see an image posted. I see you got a fiber circuit for a connection. So
this stuff doesn't even have to be straight. Seriously. Now we're gonna take a little piece of this. Because like I said, I think this kind of reminds me of, what I think his jacket would look like if he tore a piece of it. So I'm just going to add it. If you don't want to use this kind of glue on your mat,
working on.
Get yourself
not that it's posted. Okay? It doesn't mean it isn't happening or just
silicone.
Happening or,
Nothing sticks to it.
I'm actually working my way towards logging into your equipment and pulling up that information as we speak. So,
and then
what we got after.
I have these. This also came in my cut aparts.
Here.
I gotta get another bottle of glue. This one's about hot.
Now, when you say move there, what are you looking at? Is it a Nokia?
Bye, honey.
Does it got any labels? Does it say anything on it?
I kind of want to move this over a little bit, so I'm just moving it before the glue totally dries.
That's for your phone system.
So, however I want to do this, but I'm representing the color and trim of his jacket, the button of his jacket with a torn piece of fabric. It's okay. So we're going to set this to the side. Now, we're going to talk about this. This is a great base.
Does it say Edgewater or Edge?
You can make these ahead. And I have them in several different shapes.
Well.
I have them in ovals. I have them in squares. This one does require punches or, to get this effect, either punches, scissors, or dies. And I think I did these with layered punches. I had the 1.5 and the 1 1/4 inch ones, that kind of thing. But this is a great base to have in your stash to use for,
I've tried, reaching out to it, and it's
making
it's
clusters.
And you say it's got power?
Again, you can use hot glue if that is what you have.
Is it possible
use
for you to
what you have.
Power to it for 5 or 10 seconds and plug it back in? Thank you.
I almost never hear him say something like that. All right. So we got that one. And then I got this little guy. I kind of like him.
All right. We might need to wait a few minutes for it to load up completely. It's like a small computer,
Now I'm gluing down to paper. Do I need to use this? No. I'm just doing it because I like the goo all over my hands. Now, this is just basic, but it works. Oh, you're only with wall? Yeah. I know there's some people that did that. They break up with it. Now, for this, I'm going to probably want a word. Just a word. I don't know that I want a phrase.
Okay.
And I can,
see if I can get at it.
if I have it, I can stamp it out. I can, if I have click letters, I can make it. If I just want to use a piece of paper, I can do that. I can go into my stash and maybe use word fragments or word chips. I can look and see if I have it on, one of my,
But it's looking like
that's
it's
going to
working
fit
more than
on
like
something
better
that
than normal.
will work on here. But to be honest,
Or like it was.
I'm kind of okay with this. Maybe
Okay.
add something like a flower
So we're on the right road.
or, along that line. But get this thing out of the way. Here we go. Okay. Let's do a bow. Why? Because, we can. Flopsy, mopsy, and cottontail. Let's do a bow. Should we do? No. Nope. 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 I'm looking for color and size. I don't want it to be monster. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe go totally off color here. Nope. By the way, in this class, I'm going to show you guys how to do a bow. Yeah. Because I get people all the time that are like, well, how the hell do you do that? I'm going to show you. We're using that one. It's bland. I like it. Right, so I'm going to add this little bow.
Oh, yeah. Hey, now I'm starting to get at it.
There's plenty of glue right on the side. Just use that. There we go. All right.
So, Derek, are you like the manager there or something?
Ta-da! Again, remember, I just threw one more thing at it, okay? Let it over there sit. Let's talk about bows.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, think
This-
of it this way.
this is a question I get a lot.
I've learned something over the rest of
How do you make a bow
You can always teach the rest of
that doesn't do that?
That's for the phone system.
You know what I'm talking
The
about.
internet. All right. Right. Yeah, so the Eris modem is for like the transport to your
So,
phone system, and that blue box.
let me
that's
grab
how
a
it
piece
gives you the
of
dial tone and
ribbon.
Everything else. All right, yeah, I'm seeing it up. When you run a monitor.
Hi guys, how you doing?
got
Nice
two-way
to see you.
traffic.
Okay, I got it.
All right, I got the ribbon.
Awesome.
Somewhere around here's a
Awesome.
tiny little, there it is.
Okay, Derek, anything else I can try to assist you with today?
The secret to the bow, and I don't know why people don't tell
My
people this
pleasure,
more
man. That's what
often.
we do.
They let them deal with
You
it.
guys, sir, have yourself a fantastic
The
week.
secret to the bow is this.
All right,
Make a loop.
Bye-bye.
Now, most people would want to go around the front of the loop like this and then come through and boom. No. Make a loop. Go behind it. All right? So, you're tying something. Here's your tie. Now you have your two pieces. Make a loop. Go behind your loop. And then come through. Go through the hole already. There we go. And once you get that through the hole, and you pull, you're going to end up with a bow that lays flat. Is it a first and done? Boom, there you go? No. You literally have to sit here and pull and push to get it where you want it. But it puts both of your edges going down. Okay? So, make a loop, Your instinct is to go around the front. You don't want to do that. Go behind it and then come back through that loop. And don't pull it tight right away because you're going to want to. Don't mess with it. Pull it tighter. Make it smaller. Pull it tighter. Make it smaller. And just repeat the process until you get it to the size that you want. Okay? That's probably the easiest way to do this. The other way to do this is to literally use a fork. And I'll do that in a whole video, because if you never knew what to do with this fork, this fork, this one that is like 1.5 inches across and the tines on it are like 2 inches long, this big fork that you can get at the thrift store that is always there, or even the one with the 2 prongs, that's a bow maker. And we'll talk about it in a video. But yeah, you just have to, bows, you have to be patient. You have to kind of do them. And you always need more lace or ribbon than you think you need, because you got to have room to do the wiggle and the back and forth with it. But there you go. Now you know how to do it. Okay. So let's see, what else should we do? All right, let's do a paper clip, because we can. So we want to do a paper clip for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a piece of base material. Cut it down to however wide you want it to be, but it must be wider than your paper clip. Okay. So I'm going to go 1.5 inches. And then I want it to be like 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go like 3 inches. All right. And I'm going to fold it in half. Move that out of the way. I'm going to cut more paper, but not right now. Remember, if you don't have a bone folder, use the handle on your scissors. Whatever you need, okay? So this is the base. Now, most people go right into use a trombone clip. My problem with that, and I've said it 1,000 times, is a trombone clip, like most paper clips, is a spring. So when you have the 2 pieces and you slide them on and you open them up, those edges of the wire they push in, which means they can tear your paper. So this is going to be a covered paper clip. So you can use any kind of a paper clip you want with this, because nobody's going to see it. Do you have to have huge ones? No. Do you need small ones? Whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the regular ones we use for pins. If you don't have this and you just have a regular paper clip, that's okay. This is basically the same thing, just bent in a different shape. Paper clip, and it goes around. Okay. But this one's the one I have handy, so it's going to be the one I use. And all I'm going to do is just put this on here. Just like that. And in reality, I'm going to kind of open it a little bit. Like I want to get a little bit of a, I want it to be a little bit loose, because it's going to have to go over the paper. Now, that would look silly. So we're going to cover it. This is where people make a mistake. Do not cut your paper to 1.5 inches by 3 inches and think it's going to fit on here, because it's not going to. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut slightly more than 1.5. I think that's what we cut this at, was 1.5, yes. Yeah. So I'm going to cut this at like 1 3/4, 1 5/8. I just need it slightly larger than the 1.5. And then I'm going to cut it to like 3.5, 4 inches. Why? Because I'm going to go over the paper clip. Fold this in half. Ink if you feel you need to. If you don't, that's okay. Now use your glue. Glue inside your paper clip. Glue around your edges. Inside, around the edges. And then start at the fold. Put your paper in. Bring it down. Now, you remember those big paper clips that I sent y'all? Get one out. Clip this sucker together. Should you use hot glue on this? Oh, I've seen a lot of people say use hot glue. No. Why? Because hot glue stresses. It moves. And it bends. And when it's dry, it will crack. For the love of Pete, don't do that. Exactly. So we're going to let this dry. It doesn't take very long if you're using, certain glues. But now we're going to trim this. Be careful. Use your scissors if you're not, because now you have paper clip in there. So be very, very careful. 1.5 inches. And just a little trim on this side. There we go. Now I have my base. Round corners. You may have to actually do this manually because it may not fit in your corner rounder. But I am going to round 2 corners. I'm not going to round the back corners because I know those are heavy. All right. And then I'm going to ink it. Now I have the base of a paper clip that I can use in my journal. I recommend taking a piece of paper, any scrap of paper, folding it in half, and you want it to be heavy paper, and then put that in there. Because, see how I did that? Watch, look, making sure I get it in there. And I let it sit like this for a while because I want it to open up, okay? Just a trick, by the way, if you want to round something and you can't get it in your corner rounder, hit it with your bone folder about 10 times. Just really mash it down. And that will allow you to fit it in there a little bit better. And then just, ink. Now I have a paper clip, basic paper clip. All right. Now what do? Now I decorate this thing just like I would anything else. Do I have to really go over the top with it? No, not really. I could just put some flowers on it. I can just put a button. I can put just a piece of this on here. All I have to do is ink. And put it on. Now I have a paper clip. If you want, you can take your paper clip and on the side where the paper clip is, on this side where the fold is, you can poke a hole here and you can hang anything you want from this. You don't even have to put in an eyelet if you don't want to. Else, what if I do not have a paper clip and I want to do a paper clip? That's okay. Let me show you. Easy peasy. Oh, where has my piece gone? Oh, where can it be? This is file folder. I do a lot of this kind of stuff. This is a piece of file folder. It is the folded portion of the file folder, and it has those lines right here. You know the ones I'm talking about, right? So let's do this one at 2 inches because we want it to, we want to be able to see it. And from the fold, we're going to go at like 2.5. So 2 by 2.5. Now for this one, I'm not going to wrap it because I'm not putting a paper clip in it at all. I'm going to round corners because I like the look. Okay. So here's my fold. This is my natural, where the score line is for the file folder. Let me draw that on there so you guys can see it. There's my pencil. Pencil. Da, 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 da. It's right there. There's like a natural crease in a file folder, where, there you go. You guys can see those. Here's what I do. I take this and I glue to that first line only. Ready? Watch. Now, is this truly a paper clip? Will it hold a whole lot? Yeah, maybe a page. Could you get in the hole? Thank you. Okay. Now, we made this 2.5 inches, so we're going to layer this. This is the same technique that you would use for a journaling card, which we'll do in a minute. But we're going to take a piece of our paper. And this is our decorated paper. This is the paper that we have for our thing. And this is 2.5, so we're going to go 2 1/4. It is always 1/4 of an inch off, up and down, okay? So this is 2, so it's going to be 1 3/4. I rounded the corners here, so I need to round the corners here. And I'm going to ink everything. Now, this is the same technique that you would use if you wanted to use this as a movable tab in your journal. If you want to use it as a paper clip in your journal. If you want to use this at the top, this is the same technique that we use for the over-the-top tags and things like that you can put in. Now, glue. Do I have to use glue on this type of a thing? No, it's not really going to have a lot of stress on it because it's just for decoration. Same thing with adding stuff to your pockets. That stuff is just for decoration. So if you want to throw it on there with some tape, you can certainly do that. Just keep in mind that with tape, it doesn't dry all the way. So now I'm just going to line this up, and I'm looking for 1/8 of an inch, basically, on all 4 sides. How I get it straight is I just line up my 1/8 of an inch on 2 sides, and the rest falls into place. Okay. All right. So now we have this. We can put paper on the other side or whatever we want to put on the other side. If I want to put a picture on here or some kind of detail on here, I can certainly do that. It's entirely up to you. But if I want to, like, looking for something small enough that'll fit. Okay. Like if I want to add this to it, I can do that. Okay. Here's one. Where is it? There it is. That's perfect. We'll add him on there. We'll just, ink this a little bit. Do I have to do this? No. Can I leave it just the way it is? Absolutely. But, this is layering. Again, it's basically clustering. Everything is basically cluster. Cluster is layer. Layer is cluster. That's all you have to get into your head. It's the same thing either way. And it's all just about stacking things together. All right. So now we have that on there. Now I want to put this in a journal. grab a piece of paper. So this is a page in my journal, and I want to add this to it. It slides on, and it stays on. Stays on. Why? Because here is very tight. So if you just put that on a page and push it on the page, it's going to stay. We can do the same technique. It's called an over-the-top tag. Here is the rest of that file folder. There's the pieces, okay? So we're going to chamfer the edges right down my shirt. How does that even happen?
I don't know. I'll get it out later.
Oh. Now this one has an extra benefit because most tags you're going to put, you know, an eyelet into. Again, this is the fold of the tag, and that's the line on the tag on the file folder. We're going to go to that first line, add some glue, let it dry. Now, rounding the corners at the bottom just because I like that look. Inking. Why? Because we're inking in this journal. Or at least I am. You don't have to if you don't want to. But I am going to ink both sides of this. Why? Because both sides are going to show. This is not going to be a tag that I'm going to put in a pocket per se. I can put it in a pocket if I want to, but not something I'm really going to do. Okay? Then I'm going to measure because I want to cover this. And my measurements say 2.5. .5 minus 0.25, okay, is 2.25. It's always just minus the 1/4 of an inch. My length is 5, give or take 5 inches. So 5.00 minus 0.25 is 4.75. That's it. You don't need to know anything other than quarters, okay? Measure it on your board and then pull it back 1/4 of an inch. That works too, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to cover this one, okay? I'm going to go in here and find some paper that I want to cover this with. What am I going to cover it with? Let's cover it with something from our digitals. What do we got? This one. Okay. So first thing to do, I'm going to trim this down. No, it's just, you know, standard philosophy of physics. All right. 2 1/4. That's the width I want. Got an itchy finger. Then I'm going to take this part off, and then I want it to be 4 3/4. Now, I did chamfer the edges here. I rounded the bottom corner, so I'm going to round this one. I'm going to round this one. I'm going to chamfer my tops with the same size chamfer. Ink. Now, on the inside of this, I can put writing paper if I want to put lined paper. I can just, you know, leave it alone. If I want to. It's entirely up to me. I can decorate one side and then just leave writing paper on the back as well. It just depends on how you feel. So this is my piece, and here's the important part. This is where my lines are. I'm covering those. Glue. Tape if you want to. Usually I'll throw tape on this, but I use glue when I'm with you guys because I'm constantly going on about, glue is better, period. So I think I do it to visually, reiterate that. You can't go in the hole. Go in the hole. I can't even see the hole. There's so much glue up there. There we go. All right. So again, I'm just looking for that 1/8 of an inch, top, bottom, and sides. And I'm going to put that down. Hey, Q. What's up? All right, now I'm going to put an eyelet in here. Ooh, but here's the thing. I don't want to go down past that first line. So I want to be able to visualize where it is. For me, it's right here. So I'm not going to go down lower than that. I'm going to come in, put in my hole. I'm going to set an eyelet in here. And it can be any color eyelet, however you want to do this. I got some little like ready flowers in there. So I'm going to do an orange one just because it's in the color scheme. I'm going to put this in. And I'm going to adjust these pliers because they are set up for the small ones. And I'm going to put that on there. Now, the top. Doesn't matter. You can use anything you want. You can put string, lace, ribbon, twine, seam binding, whatever it is you want. Maybe you're going to be using like one specific lace throughout the whole thing. You can put that lace in there. We're going to use a piece of seam binding because I have some seam binding over here. Let's put these freaking magnets away. They're grabbing everything. Back in your plastic only drawer. All right. So now we're going to do a piece of seam binding. Here's a little piece already cut. Let me put Arlene's box back. Let me put this one up. Okay. When you're putting this in, some people just like to put it through and tie it. They like that like splayed look. Some people like to put it through and use a tiny attacher, also known as a freaking stapler. Some people don't really care, but here's the trick to this. When you do it this way and you put the loop through and then you pull them back, do each one of these separately to tighten it down. Now I have my piece of paper. All right, so now this can slide over a page on the side of a page. Shit, on the bottom of a page. There, I got it off. That can go anywhere you want it to, okay? And here's the best part. Look. You can write on the inside of this, both sides. You can write on the back of it. You can cover the back of it before you put the eyelet in. It's entirely up to you. And here's the best part. You can fold this up to that line, and it's still going to hold the paper, okay? So if you want to fold this up so you can write in here, it works. Seriously. So that is a very simple over-the-top tag. Now, that is the basis of making a regular tag. All right, so we're going to move on to the next part. So the next part of this is just making a standard tag, okay? And this is going to play right in to making a journal card. So we're going to start off with just paper. Just paper. Doesn't have to be anything spectacular. Most journal cards average are 2.5 by 3.5, but you can make it any size that you want. Let's do 2 3/4 by 5. Okay, so that's going to be our journal tag, our journal card. We want to cover this. If you're using something that is already, like if you printed this on cardstock and you're using this as your base, fantastic. Okay, but if you're using cardstock to start with, then you're going to want to mat. And so since we cut this at 2 3/4, we're going to cut this at 2.5. So 2.5 inches across. And it is 5 inches tall. So 4 3/4. Yeah, it gets hot. Okay. So here's the rule of thumb. Whatever you do to the base, you must do to every other consecutive page. So if you round these corners, then you have to round these corners. If you don't round these corners, you can still round these. It's entirely up to you. I always say the bigger it is, the bigger the round is. So if it's a giant journal card, use your biggest rounder. If it's a medium-sized journal card, and that's anything between god-awful and 2.5 by 3.5, use your middle if you have one. Do your paper. If your paper is thin and it won't work in your circle, in your corner rounder, do it with the paper, your cardstock, and that'll help thicken it up, or just use a scrap. Okay? So now we have our base, and we have a nice, beautiful mat that we're going to use on here. And now we're going to talk about using washi tape on a journal card. Hi, Miss Mari. It's okay if you're late, honey. Remember, you guys are getting 2 weeks on this one. You get a bonus week because I'm going to be out of town. So let's say we want to add washi tape to our journaling tag, to our journaling card. So we're going to take some washi tape. Now, I don't know if this is going to show up, but we're going to use it anyway. Oh, here, this will work. No, that won't work. Nothing will work. We'll use this one because I got it for this book. We're going to use it. As soon as I find the end of it. My washi tape has no end. Okay, here we go. So when you're using washi tape on a journaling card, I recommend that you put a background, back page on it, because, are you kidding me? This is going to be difficult washi tape. Here we go. Because you want to be able to wrap this around the back. Okay, so we put that on there. This is, I'm taking off the broken part, and we'll do this. Hold on. Okay, so it peeled. So what you do is you put on more washi tape than you think you're going to need, because you want to have about 1/2 inch at least on either side. Take that off. Do not glue your washi tape here. Glue it on the back. And this doesn't matter. You can use anything you want here. As a matter of fact, let's use tape. So get out your double-sided tape, whether you have a tape runner like this or you just have regular double-sided tape, doesn't matter. I don't think there's anything going to show up on this paper. We'll try it. Add some double-sided tape. Wrap it around. Not on this card. Wrap it around on the front card. See how I have that on there now? And it's wrapped around. Now we can decorate this. And I recommend, realistically at this point, decorating before you put this together. So let me grab... This is going to be a journaling card, and it's, it's kind of a tall one, so we're going to use a tall piece. If I don't like this on here, that's okay. Just don't glue it down. You know what I mean? All right, so now we're going to do this. I'm just trying to catch up with chat, guys, while I'm inking. I apologize. I know it's class and I should be like right here and y'all should be able to see me 24/7. But and now I'm going to glue this down. Can I use tape? Yes. I got to get this glue bottle to work. Seriously. I want to use the smaller glue. Work for me. All right, so we're going to put Peter on here. Can I use a sticker? Yes. Use a freaking sticker. Do whatever you want. Can you pop that off? Yes. Here's the thing with journaling cards, though. Remember, anything that you put on a journaling card that pops off, you have to make room for that in the pocket you plan on putting it in. Now that I have my decoration on there, and this may or may not be, you know, what I keep. Let's see. What do we have? Oops. I like this one. We're using this one. I have no idea why this designer said that these tags all had to have this little like tag point at the end, but we're getting rid of it. I'm going to ink this. Guys, this is hysterical. And then we're going to add this on here. So these are all quotes from the Harry Potter, the Peter Rabbit books. Sorry. I'm working on a Potter book. Yeah, because I have nothing better to do than work on 6 books at a time. So this is Peter Rabbit. Can it come off the edge? A little bit, yeah, because you got this in the background. All right, so now we're going to put this down. Get the pen off the board and get that in there. So now we're going to put this down. Can you use tape? Yeah, you can. Do I recommend it? I think it would depend on what you're going to do with this, okay? If you're keeping it for personal use and you don't care if it lasts more than 6 months or something, then don't worry about it. But if you're giving this to somebody, you want it to last. All right, so 1/8 of an inch, got it even, put it down. Okay, so now I'm going to ink the outside of this. I may not have used white card necessarily for this. I may have used like a color that works for my theme, but just so you guys get the idea. So same thing. Look, it's the same thing as a tag. All we did is we did not notch the tops. If I notched it, we did. By the way, this says home is where you're loved the most and act the worst. So true. Drink of water. I need water. Right. Let me look at my list because I do have a list. All right. The next one is I just had it in my head. Okay, so the next one is going to be like tabs. So this is one of those things that you can make ahead. This is a make ahead. I have tabs here. All different kinds of tabs. They don't all have to have the same, look at that. We're going to make one just so that everybody can see it. And we're going to use some of what we've got. So let me just take a look here. I'm going to grab a couple. So make a stack of them ahead. We did these in a craft with me so that you guys could see. So I made these are big ones. Maybe you don't want a big one. That's okay. Just make it smaller. Fold it in half and make it smaller. How big is this one? This one currently sits at 5 inches. So let's do it at 2.5. That'll be half the distance. Okay. Now, I happen to have the thing that does this, but, and you do too. If you have any of the We Are Memory Keepers boards, you have this notch. Okay. Let me grab a board so I can show you what we're looking for. So if you have any of these kinds of boards, whether it's the envelope punch board, the mini envelope punch board, the 1-2-3 board, the box board, any of them, you have these notch cutters in them. Okay, look, see, rounder, notch, rounder, notch. It's the same cutter. So all you have to do is put it in here. We'll go ahead and take this one and do the same thing. This one is 5 inches as well. We're going to cut it down to 2.5. No, you know what? I'm going to do it at 3. Make it a little bit longer. And all I'm going to do is put this in at halfway. All right. I'm seeing it at halfway in the box. Give it a punch. Ta-da! Same thing with this. Giving it halfway. Give it a punch. Ta-da! All right. This one is 5 3/4. We'll do this one at 3. Notch that out. Notch this one out. Now I have a whole bunch of tabs to put in my book. Do I need them all? No. Am I going to use them all? I don't know. But we're not going to decorate. We just want to have them. So how do we make these? Let's go ahead and do it. If you have one of these boards, get it out. If you have one of these, just notch punchers, get it out. If you don't, that's okay. Get out your circle punch. B, as soon as we're done with this free class, I will do that. Wow. It was all men that showed up and they all said, where's the tools? Right? Yeah. All right. So we're going to use this piece just because I have it. And generally what we want to do is we're going to do 2 types here. One is going to be a pocket and the other one is just going to be a tab. So decide how wide you want this to be. For me, generally, I think it's usually like 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut a 3-inch strip. Okay. Mari, you can get the measurements for that. If you just go online and just put in We Are Memory Keepers 3-in-1 punch board measurements, it'll give you the list. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll send you a link. Now, because I did this at 3, I can either fold this in half by hand if I want to, or I can use my scoreboard and I can just score this down the center. Now, I'll be honest, this is something that I tend to do with leftover pieces of paper that are at least 2.5 to 3 inches wide that I'm not going to use for anything else. I tend to do this, and I use it for 2 different things. One, for gussets, when I'm gusseting a pocket, and 2, when I'm making these tabs. So I have a lot of pieces of paper that are just stacked up that look like this. They just have the crease down the middle. Always remember that it's always best to do a couple of light ones, just kind of go back and forth on it, as opposed to, no, don't do that. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take this. This is now a valley. The top of the paper where you run your stylus, that's the valley. I've had somebody ask me about that. The hill is the other side where it pops up. You're going to turn hills into valleys and valleys into hills. So where that valley is, you're going to fold it so that it comes out this way and turns into a hill. This side will then go in and become a valley. So we're just going to fold it in half and burnish. Now, again, I'm going to cut off whatever length I want from my strip. We'll say 2 3/4. Cut that off. Now, if I don't want it to be that deep, I can cut this down to 1 inch. Abso-freaking-lutely. Shoop. Now I have a thinner tab. All right. This is where that board comes out. See that mark? That's my halfway mark. So when I put this in, if I just line it up there, I know that I'm on my half where I want to be. And now I have a tab. Fabu taboo, right? All right. If you don't have a tab, I have a video. It's called Tabapalooza. And it shows you all of the different things that you can do to make a tab. But here's the 2 simplest ones. One, if you have a corner rounder, just put it on there and round your 2 corners. You're going to have a tab. Okay. If you want to make it a little bit fancier, get out that 1 inch punch. Where is she? There she is. Get out that 1 inch punch. And inside there's a hole. There's a circle right in the middle. See, there's like 2 on the outside and then there's 1 in the middle. You see the one in the middle? It's kind of flat, but do you see it? Okay. We're going to go in and we're going to put the corner right at that mark. Punch. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Right at that mark. Give or take. Punch. Tab. Now I'll tell you this one. For me, I think it looks better when it's thinner. So I'm going to take this down. That's just personal opinion, guys. Okay? But I think it looks better this way. Okay? It blew everywhere. But the video is called Tabapalooza. And you can use it. It talks about all different kinds of things that you can use to make tabs, okay? And how you can do them. So now I have some tabs. I'm not really going to decorate all of these. We'll decorate one to go on here. Let's do this one. We'll do this one. Okay. But I do have some that are specifically made for it, so we can add those to our ephemera for this. We have not decorated them yet, but we know what they're for. All right. I'm going to go ahead. This is kind of cool. It's got like 2 sides to it. This side is like a light lavender color, and this side is like white with the lavender stripes. I kind of like the stripes. So we're going to go ahead and just do this. I'm just going to ink this side, and we're going to do a variation of this as well, which is kind of fun. All right. So now I have this, and all I'm going to do is get my tray back down. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to add something to it. I can add 1 thing to it. I can add 2 things to it. I can add 4 things to it. I could put this on here if I want to, whatever I want to add. Let's see. I'm going to add some ink to this. And we're going to put this on here. Now, is it going to hang over? Yes. Is that a problem? Probably. Do I care? Not really. But I'm going to do the hangover on the inside. Okay? I'm just making sure that any part that's too big is going to be on the inside. And then I'm going to put glue on the back of this. Now, let's say you're using a sticker to do this, right? And your sticker's too big. Put your sticker on, take the back off, put your sticker on, turn it over, put the back on the part that's sticking out, okay? That's going to keep it from getting icky poo. So now we've got that part, and I want to do, I don't know. We're going to put this bow on there. This is a paper bow. We used a cloth bow. Can we use both? Yes. This is your journal, okay? This is your journey into journaling. Do whatever makes you happy. Anybody who sits there and tells you that there's a right or a wrong way to do this, tell them to kiss your dupa. Look at them square in the eye and say, "Tamo bujin na dupa." I know it looks like satin, but it's not. It's just paper. They did real good on this. All right, so now I have, it's basic. It's not, you know, but it does work for this book. And I'm going to make sure that I don't glue this shut by opening it up and letting it dry this way so that I know that I haven't glued the edges together. Just let it dry. All right. So those are tabs. Now we're going to extend that tab. We're going to make that a little bit bigger. Let me see. I know I have a piece of the paper that I'm looking for. It's here somewhere among my stuffy. Here it is. All right. So this is that same paper. It's like a pale purple with lines on this side, and it's got the lines on the other side. This is the same stuff. Here we're going to do. Ready? I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to cut it down to about 5, give or take. And then, let's see, I want it to be about 4. So we'll save those pieces. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this on my scoreboard. And I'm going to mark at like 1.25 inches right here. And then I'm going to fold this. And then I'm going to burnish my fold. And I'm going to decide, I want it to be like 3 inches. Here, 3 will work. 2.5, 2.5.
Hi, this is Mike with Cox Business Support.
Keeping this.
It's a Cox ticket number 329333.
Now, I'm going to do the same process that I did for the tab. I'm going to put this in.
Find a path forward, basically, for this ticket.
Punch.
See if you've got any more call examples.
Put this in.
Investigate, or if it's all right for us to move forward with closing this here ticket.
Punch.
If the opportunity, if you'd be so kind as to give us a call back, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Now, this punch sometimes leaves this like little up part. If I don't like it, I can just cut it off.
Thank you for using Cox Business Support, and have yourself a fantastic day now.
Just means I got a little off on it, okay? So now I have this. This is the same thing. It's a tab, but there's a difference. This now becomes a pocket as well. So when you put this on your page and you put it on, you know, to come out, you glue this part down just like you would a normal tab. But on this side, you glue just on the edges here, and that leaves this as a pocket. You can, if you want, put a finger notch in here. That's the quick and easy of it. There's a whole video. I think it's like 30 minutes. But that's the quick and easy of it. Ink this up. Decorate it on both sides. You've got a tab and a pocket in one quick decoration. What can you decorate this with? Well, you could decorate it with a piece of your ephemera that you've already made. Or you can decorate it with something else, okay? So now we've covered that one. What is the other one that we needed to cover? All right, so let me make sure we did this. We have the basics of journaling cards. However big you want it, minus 1/4 of an inch in height, 1/4 of an inch in width, okay? That's your dimension. Same thing with a tag. To mat on a tag or to cut like, writing pieces that go in here. For this particular one, I will tell you, you want to measure like from the fold down. You obviously you won't be able to measure the whole thing, okay? But so what I would do is come down about an inch and then measure that and say, okay, that's it, minus the 1/4 of an inch. So we've done tags, we've done journaling cards. We have covered our tabs for these. So we've tags, journaling cards, tabs. Let me get this stuff out of the way. We have covered paper clips and no clip paper clips. We have covered just making straight clusters, how to make, huge pieces and then cut them down to make smaller cluster pieces that we can use for our ephemera. We've talked about how to use fabric on basic bases and how to put texture into your journals. And we've talked about just building stuff to build. We've also built some Scrapbuster 3000 pieces. So you've got quite a few different ways that you can make ephemera for this journal. I don't think so. I think they're still here. Marjorie might be napping. She had procedure yesterday. She's not feeling very well. She's not completely back yet. All right. So that's all we're going to cover in this one. All right. So for this one, what you're going to be spending the next 2 weeks doing is making your tabs and getting comfortable making your clusters. If you're not sure that you're going to be comfortable making your clusters, get out a bunch of scrap that you don't care about and just start throwing it together until you become repetitive with it, until it becomes second nature. Marie, you can do this. I get it. I have OCD. The idea of just slapping stuff down on a piece of paper terrifies me. But I do it. And it's all you need to do. Just take a piece of paper and start building. Put bits and pieces together. Put tape on there. Start with a base that works for you. This is a piece. And sometimes the easy way to do this is to pick that piece. This one. I want to make something for this. Okay. So I'm going to start by inking this up. And I'm going to start with my focal point so that I have it in mind what I'm building this for. And then I'm going to say to myself, what would you put on here? Well, I have a piece of brown paper. It just happens to be what's next to me. I'm going to cut this down to like a 1-inch strip. That works. I've got some green leaves in here. We have some of this. Let's cut this down. Like 3/4 of an inch, give or take. Always staggering. What else? Just looking through my scraps. Here's a piece of book page. All right. I'm not going to ink this because it's very dark. I am going to ink the book page because it's light. Am I going to ink the whole thing? No, not really. Why? Because I'm not going to use the whole friggin' thing. I've got this piece. I'm going to go ahead and ink this. If I want this to look a little bit more rustic, I could tear it with a ruler. I'm going to glue this part down. So all I'm doing at this point now is I'm just going to glue on a piece of paper. And I'm committing, okay? I'm going to commit to this. One piece of paper, second piece of paper. It's down from the top. That's all that matters, gluing it down. I don't care how far I go over. I don't care if it's straight. I've committed to it, okay? Now we're going to take the second piece. We're going to just put some glue on the back of this. And again, I'm just going to glue this down. We're going to commit to it. I have some brown on there. I got that. I got this on here. Do I want to put that right there? Do I want to lift it up? How do I want to do this? I actually think I want to trim this a little bit. Like, I don't like the size of it. Okay, so let's trim it. Does it have to be perfect? No. Can it be lopsided and goofy? Absolutely. All right, so we're going to ink this back up again. If I want to put this on a piece of paper because I want it, like cardstock, because I want it to be thicker, I can do that. But I think it looks cute right there. I'm not even going to lift it up. I'm just going to glue it straight down. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back, and I'm going to glue him on there. And then I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to cut that off. Look at that. Perfect. A little bit of ink on the bottom. And I still have this piece to work with. So now I'll finish gluing this down. Because I didn't even glue that down all the way in the first part. Oh, wait. Oh, you're so cute. Come here. Come here. Yep. I'm going to take this guy. Put some ink on it. And I'm not thinking about this. I'm literally just grabbing stuff, okay? Glue. Half. Because I want it sticking off of there. Just like that. Now I'm going to finish inking this because I'm going to keep this piece because I like it. Make sure that I got it glued down. Looking good. 2 pieces. Marie, honey, if you can't get it when I come home, you and I will do a Facebook call, just the 2 of us. We'll sit here and we'll just chat while we're doing it, and you'll see that you'll do it. You need to get your head out of this. Take your head out. Don't think. Put on a set of earphones and listen to music that you enjoy. Sit down with all of your stuff on a snack tray or like a baking tray pan, like a thin cookie sheet. Sit down in front of the TV and watch something on television. Just have your glue, your scissors, and your stuff, and just start putting stuff together. Pay more attention to the TV or to the music in your ears than to what your hands are doing, honey. Just relax and let it happen. If you try really hard to make things look like I make things, or like somebody else makes things, or like Kim makes things, or like Tina makes things, then you are going to drive yourself nuts trying to be somebody else. And that's not who you are. Your designs need to be you. You may not have ever thought to use this green, ugly ass paper, but I like it. Not really, but in small doses, it's okay. Nothing has to be perfect. I am the least perfect crafter you will ever meet, and I don't care. If I tear something and I rip it up, I just go, okay, well, we'll work with that. Let's move with it. We're going. Don't freak out. Just put on some headphones, sit down, watch your TV, and make your own beauty happen. Does it have to be perfect? No. Are you going to use every single piece you make?
Hi, this
No.
is Mike.
Even I don't like
Talking
every single
business
piece I
support,
make.
calling on a recorded line. And I'm sorry, I didn't quite
Okay.
get your name on the way in.
Sometimes I make a piece and I go, ew. And sometimes I make a piece and I go, I'm putting that in the no-no box because I may use that later. Okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hey, buddy, listen, I got your
Just
internal ticket number
chill.
here.
Let it happen.
2026
All right.
0710
So your homework
01
for the next 2 weeks is to do this. Build just these pieces. Don't get overly excited. Don't start
Sure,
gluing
take
stuff
your
to,
time.
pockets and putting pockets in pages and stuff. Don't do that, because you are going to look at it later and go, no, I boo-booed. I did big boo-boo. No. Don't do it. You want to have everything that you have available to you at the time that you start putting your pages together, because you want to see how the flow works. And you can't see how the flow works until you put all the stuff together. So for the next 2 weeks, you're going to be working on this. When we come back, I'm going to do more ephemera, but we're going to go a step further. We're going to start adding dimensions, more dimensions to it. We're going to start adding different types of things, heavier things like plastic pieces and flowers, and giving ourselves bulk. And I'm going to show you how and where you can use that stuff, and where not to use it. And we're going to be doing more. We're going to be doing, we're going to be using stickers in our stuff. We're going to be using more washi tapes. We're going to be all of that stuff. Okay. And then, and we're going to be doing that in 2 weeks. And then in 3 weeks, we're actually going to start putting it all together. We're going to take our stack of this and we're going to start putting it into our pages, and we're going to start getting that together. Okay. So don't get ahead of me.
Larger outage going on, and it looks like they've been reaching out for a field technician to pick that up.
Don't get ahead of me. Don't get ahead of
No
yourself.
one's been available because of other outages.
Just let it go.
But I don't
Flow
know
with
that
this.
they made
Spend the 2 weeks whenever you get, whenever you feel like,
And
I'm
this
kind
is
of
what
bored.
we have
Sit down and do this.
up until about 20
Watch
minutes
videos on YouTube. Watch
ago.
TV.
As far as
Listen
the
to
most
music.
recent updates. As far as the
Maybe
most recent
throw all your
updates,
scraps on the table that you pass by 15 times a day and just walk by and look at it and go, wait, that looks good with that, and glue it down. I do this thing. I quilt. Everybody knows this. I quilt, and I buy fabric and I lay it on the back of my love suit, because I walk by that love seat all day long.
That's what I got. The outage is
And I
still
wait
going
for it to
on.
tell me what it wants to look
Modem
like.
is still currently offline.
Like, I will walk by it
It's
until
been
one
assigned
day
to
the pattern
all
that
the
it's supposed to make
research-
pops into my head, and I go, okay, that's what you want to be. That's what we're going to make you. And I grab whatever I need to do that, and I get started cutting that pattern. But it could sit there for a month, waiting for it to tell me what it wants to be. Maybe you throw your pieces on, a tray,
I do not. No ETR, no ETA.
Something like this.
and I don't
Have
any
your
of that
strips.
right now.
throw it down and look at it and go, yeah, these things work together. Find your color scheme and go forward. Okay.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, local contact. Well, this is
I'm
an
sorry,
outage
Vanessa, but we
area
already had a
thing,
class
so
clown.
I'm not going to need a local contact.
All right. So that's going to be it for this week, guys.
They're working stuff outside the.
If you have any questions, put them in the chat now. Otherwise, you can put them in the comment section later. You can email me if you want. The email is in the description. You can contact me via Facebook if we're linked through Facebook, or however it is that you contact me. If you have a question, I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. Even if I'm on the road, I will try to get back to you. So,
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
yeah, if you have questions, just get them out there. If you have one right now, put it in the comments. And I'm going to start cleaning up my mess here, because I made a big old mess today. I did. I'm going to keep my pieces that I used for my original piece, my original one. I'm going to keep these because I want them to be where I can use them throughout my journal. I'm going to put my pockets away. And I'm going to make sure that I keep all of my, paper together and all of my cardstock and stuff because I want to be able to use this stuff, and so I want to have it in one place. Look at that, I found a ruler. Way down upon the bottom of the stack. We still have that I can use. All right. I'm going to get my project bag. And I'm going to put this all in there. And now that I have some pieces of ephemera, I'm going to put them in here with my pockets, in my journaling cards and stuff, just so that I know where they are. My tabs. I'm going to put my signatures in my book. In. These guys are going to have to get put away. We'll get those put away. Those are going to get put away. That's going to get put away. More paper. I have more paper over here that I'm going to be putting away. Oh, well. All right, let's see. All right. So, all right. So that is, I think that's, nobody has any real questions about what we're doing. Remember, if you have questions, nothing stupid. Nobody asks a stupid question. The only question that's stupid is the one that doesn't get asked. Okay. Okay, put this in here. Oh, that's heavy. Put this in here, and then all of this other. We'll put this in here, and I'm going to put. Here. Okay, so now that we have all of that, if you need me, you can email me, you can text me, however it is that you need to reach out. You can reach out to me and say, hey, Elf, got a question, got a thing, got to know. Even if I'm on the road, I do check my email every single day. All right. I am going to be here Wednesday. I'm going to probably go live at least once, either Monday or Tuesday, because I'm going to be out of town starting on Thursday morning, and I will be out of town from Thursday probably to the following Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm going to miss you guys, so I'll probably go live at some point in the next 48 hours. I do have mixed media tonight and the game tomorrow morning, but I may go live, Monday, who knows. I'm putting that right there because I'm going to use it. Put that there. Get all this stuff out of the way. Let me get this put away. This. And I don't know what the hell that came off of. We'll figure it out. All right, so I'm going to put this in here in the bag so that it's all put away. What else? That's it. All right, if you need a copy of my schedule, you can get that here on the YouTube channel, or you can get it over on my Facebook group, whichever you prefer, whichever is easier for you. Also, you can join my Facebook group, and that's always fun. Great group of ladies in there that just, wow. Yes, ma'am, I did. I make them and I don't get rid of them. And they're foam board. Good Lord, I got all kinds of stuff on the floor over here from this. If you would care to, go over and peruse my Patreon, I would love it. As a matter of fact, my Patreons are the ones that help to pay for me to take my trips that I take. For every person who's a Patreon at the top tier for one full year, that covers my gas and my hotel for the night. So one night of travel for every top tier Patreon, or for 2 partner Patreons. So if I have somebody who's below that level and I have more than one person, then those 2 people help to pay for that. But they get me on the road and they keep me out there for as long as I do stay. And there's some really great benefits to being in the Patreon. My Patreon fees will never change. They will always be will be the membership fee. Because I hate the whole, you only get this, but I'm going to keep charging you more thing. That's not cool for me.
They're almost adventures, so never know what she's going to bring back.
Told you to double your dose. Now you're awake. Yay! All right. So that's going to do it. Until I see you again, do your homework. Just let it happen. We'll talk about some other kinds of ephemera, which basically is, I got to tell you, it's all the same stuff. It's just stacking one thing on top of another. Honestly. But we'll talk about that. And in 2 weeks, stay well, stay hydrated. It's play in the rain, but not the hail, thunder, and tornadoes. And I will see you all tonight or tomorrow or when I see you. Okay. I love you guys. Bye.